This week on the Stogie Geeks show, Brian Chinnock returns for an interview from Chinnock Cellars, and Renee from Villager Cigars will be here with us as well. Our Debonair Ideal segment, we're going to talk about retro-hailing, the what, the why, and the how, and of course, Stogies of the Week, so stay tuned. This is a Security Weekly production. Brought to you by, paying homage to the Mecca of tobacco, Pinar del Rio, Cuba, Abe Flores opened his PDR cigar factory in the Dominican Republic over 10 years ago. Abe is one of the hottest boutique cigar makers in the industry today, earning the number 10 spot on Cigar Aficionado's Top 25 Cigars of 2014 with the Abe Flores 1975 Serie Privada. Abe and his team use Cuban blending traditions in a modern boutique Dominican factory. Smoke PDR cigars and cut, light, and taste what they love to do. M. Bombay cigars represent the most admired cigar culture of Cuba. They select the best of the best quality tobacco to use in the aging process. M. Bombay cigars are then rolled in Costa Rica by some of the most experienced cigar rollers, giving it a unique smoking experience. The band portrays the detailed and artistic nature of our small industry. Try the M. Bombay Casera, M. Bombay Mora, and the recently released M. Bombay Havana. M. Bombay Cigars, where the cigar is a way of life. I love that I get to smoke cigars and call it work.
Hey, Paul.
What's going on, cigar newbie?
I'm halfway through this cigar you gave me, and I was wondering if I could put it out and save it for later.
No.
Well, I wanted to try the Liga Privada with the Connecticut wrapper, and I was wondering where I could get some of those.
Yeah, so those don't exist.
Well, I also have some of the cigars you gave me from before, and I was wondering if I could store them in my refrigerator.
Only if you're going to eat them.
Don't be like Mark. Subscribe to Stogie Geeks Shorts with Paul and Will, a 10-minute show about all things cigar smoking. We provide tips and tricks on humidification, cigar storage, mini reviews on select cigars, accessories, and more. Stogie Geeks Shorts is one-stop shopping for learning about which cigars to smoke and the right way to cut, light, and store your favorite stogies. You can watch Stogie Geeks Shorts on our YouTube channel or subscribe using your favorite podcast app. For all the latest episodes, visit stogieshorts.tv.
Hey, Paul, this cigar is awesome, and I wanted to share it with you, and I was going to cut it in half.
Oh, boy. You need to watch Stogie Geeks Shorts. Welcome, everyone, to the Stogie Geeks Show. We got a fantastic show for you, as always. I'm your host, Paul Asadorian. On the lines via Skype, Mr. Will Cooper. Welcome, Will. I can't hear Will or myself. I'm assuming you're doing good, Will. Still a little wet. Yeah, I can't hear Will at all.
He's speechless.
Brian, you there?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Oh, there he is. Hey, Will, what's going on?
That was user error on my end. Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm a little wet still. We've had some really bad thunderstorms come through North Carolina right now.
Well, I'm glad to see you're able to do the show. That's important.
Show must go on.
That's right. What are you smoking tonight, Will?
I'm actually gonna light up the Sandoro Claro, which we'll be talking about when we have our second guest on, Renee. This is from Villager.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, I smoked a Villager cigar earlier today, and actually, I know they're a studio sponsor and everything, but the Trill Robusto I'll talk about, and we'll just save that for the last segment.
Yeah. Yep.
And tonight, I am smoking an Ernesto Perez Carrillo La Historia. I believe this is like the Churchill format. these things are smoking awesome now. Holy crap!
E3, the E3 you're smoking, that
Yeah.
is
Oh.
one that got Ernesto the #2 rating.
Wow.
So that is, and I think that cigar and that Bellicoso they did in that La Historia blend, in my opinion, were really the two in that line that stood out.
Yeah, I mean, now that it's got a little age on it. 'Cause I bought this box when it first came out. I mean, these are just amazing right now. Really enjoying the smoke.
Yeah, it's a cigar that's aged out, I think, particularly well. I agree with that.
So our interview for this evening, we welcome back Brian Chinnock. Brian, welcome to the show.
Hey guys. Hey Paul. Will, how you guys doing?
Good. He's
Doing great.
broadcasting from the cave again, which looks fabulous as always, Brian. Very nice.
You know, I told Brian, I saw Brian in Atlanta last month when we were kind of setting this up, and I really want to make that attempt when we have Brian on in the future. I want to be at that cave, and I'm dead serious about it.
Well, you got to get a pass. You got to go down the little rabbit hole to get in here, and then down.
It's on Will's bucket. It's on Will's bucket list.
It really is. I'm not joking around. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So Brian, what's been going on with you? You got some new cigars you're getting ready to release.
Yeah, we're getting ready to release a very, very special cigar for the show this year. Coming in July. In 2 weeks, we'll be at the IPCB Art Show, and a very special cigar we're going to launch. It's going to be called TLP. The initials stand for Terry Lynn Paiva, and that is in tribute and to honor my wife, who has passed away back in February. So we're trying to, excuse me, guys, sorry, but it's been a kind of a long road getting there, and I was talking with several people in the industry, and they said, why don't we do a cigar that honors her? And what we're trying to do is raise $25,000 for the American Diabetes Association, ADA for short, and we're trying to get we've already got $10,000 raised, and we're trying to get another $15,000 through the 100% of the proceeds of this cigar are going to go right to American Diabetes Association, and also the cost of this cigar to make it is going to be donated by myself back into the ADA. So we're hoping to make $15,000 going back to the ADA and get the $25,000 donation that I'm trying to make.
That's
so it's a very, very special cigar.
Yeah, that's really nice of you to do, Brian. Tell us a little bit about the cigar and the blend.
Well, what we did is we took, so I remember last year we launched the very special XOXO cigar. There was 500 sticks made of that cigar. It was a cigar that we actually infused with some extremely expensive cognac. I'm not going to say what it was to make sure I don't get liable, but an extremely expensive cognac went into the production of that cigar. And we took that same blend, same methodology, and we tweaked the blend a little bit. And Sandy Copus at Tiran de Bronze came up with another very special blend for the cigar, and we were calling it TLP. And we'll be launching it coming up at the show here. It's it's a Ecuadorian Del Dorado wrapper, a little Dominican, and Nicaraguan with a double Nicaraguan binder, and it's a beautiful, beautiful smoke. It's already been since February we actually decided to do this. I was sitting with Liana Fuente and some other friends from the cigar industry, and actually they were at the service for my wife, and we started thinking about what we could do to honor her and to actually get a methodology to come up with to do a donation back to the American Diabetes Association. So I think we came up with this idea. We named it, and we decided to name it TLP after her initials. And the band's all been done by Manny Iriarte out of Florida. He did the band for us. In fact, donated all his proceeds to the cigar. And then the box is being made by Miguel down at, and also in Miami, at Millennium Box Company. And then Albert from Cigar Rings donated the entire band selection and produced the band for us to make that. And everybody's been really chipping in from around the industry to honor Terry and to put this cigar together for us. And It's literally being boxed today. We're putting bands on and we're being boxed today. We'll have it all ready for the show. It's an extremely limited edition. We're only making 1,000 sticks. There'll be 200 boxes produced, and they'll only be sold at the show. So the shops that are coming to the show will get those, and there'll be a limited supply for each. So
we have a picture of it too, Brian.
Yeah, if you could put that up, that'd be great. Yeah.
I'm trying to get the production guys to get that picture up.
Okay.
There we go.
This photo was literally taken this morning while they were banding. This is actually done at the factory there in Little Havana. So there's the band and TLP. It says Terry Lynn Paiva underneath it. Very beautiful cigar. It's got a bun, 5-wrap bun at the tops. Very special methodology for doing that. Then everything's packaged in a glass tube, and it'll come in a 5-pack piano finish box, much like the XOXO did. And it'll be fairly the same construction on the box and the layout of that box. And we'll have a special form or insert that goes into that cigar box that talks about Terry, talks about ADA, and talks about how you can donate even more back to the society, or to the charity. $1 of every cigar that you purchase will go right back to ADA. So I've already built that in the price from your retailer. So when you're buying that, they're already donating $1 back into the ADA. So it's all going to be the shop owners are contributing, the manufacturers that help me produce this cigar, and of course myself are all taking all of our proceeds and donating back towards the ADA. So it's a very wonderful cause, and it's something special to my wife, and I wanted to continue with her legacy on this cigar.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to say, Brian, I'm very sorry for your loss, and I'm encouraged to see you do really good things that can come from a tragedy like this. I know when similar things happen in my life, I tend to do the same thing, right? Because I have to somehow channel, my emotions somewhere. And doing this, I think it really helps, and I hope it's helping you kind of cope, and helping raise awareness about a cause. We just did this on our other show for a friend of ours who passed away as well. So I really commend you for your efforts.
Oh, thanks, Paul. Appreciate that. It's been a tough go, and I've heard the industry's been great, helping me get through this process. It's been really tough going at this time, but I think just getting behind the cigar and everybody and all my friends getting behind it. And all the shops, the 5 Chinnock Cellar lounges that are out there in the country, they're getting behind it. They'll be promoting the heck out of the cigar, and see if we can get everything sold as soon as it hits the docks right after the show. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a wonderful smoke, and I hope everybody comes out and supports the cause.
So how many boxes will each of your retailers get?
So the lounges will get 10 boxes. Mm-hmm. And then the non-lounges, the rest of the mom and pop shops, will get 5 boxes. Mm-hmm. And it'll be done on a first come, first served basis, which is only 200 boxes produced.
Right.
It'll be made, it'll also have the same type of banding on it as a previous cigar. It'll also have some special inserts in there. We'll have the foil that goes around the bottom of the capsule, much like the foil on a wine bottle, the same type of the technology here that's
Oh, is that what's on the foot of the glass tubes?
Yeah, what's on the foot of the glass tube there, it's called the bottle foil. It covers up the cork, and so we use that same technology. We went over to France and we had it miniaturized where these are produced, and had it miniaturized so it would fit on a glass tube.
Oh, wow.
And we spin them on the glass tube in the same machine that you spin these onto the bottles. Use the foils onto the bottles. So we're actually taking and inserting these into this rotating machine that's going at a very high speed to actually compress the foil material onto in this case, the cigar tube.
That's a really neat process, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's very time consuming to do that. You have to make about 10 passes of each cigar, each tube through the machine, because it's the diameter is much smaller than a wine bottle. So it takes some extra passes to get it to look right. They don't obviously make a machine that fits this because it's a one of a kind. There's nobody else that's ever done a foil this small that
I was
fits
going to ask that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, most people go through and they put a wax seal or something of that nature, or paper, or some type of a heat shrink device. But this is this is very special. It's very, very and time consuming to put this together.
So Brian, so I'm, going back to the predecessor, the XOXO, just for folks who know, that was a very special cigar you came out with last year. That was really kind of, I guess, the predecessor to this. I mean, I remember at the show. I mean, I believe you sold through the whole inventory very, very quickly of that cigar.
Yeah.
So this is a very special cigar that you're putting in to obviously honor your wife's memory with that. So I mean, this year you said the blend is tweaked a little.
Yeah, we tweaked it a little bit, just to give it a little more character, a little more spice. I think the cigar was great where it was, and we wanted to just kind of give it just a little something extra to add to the flavor. And I think we did that. It's been aging now for because we were in production, and then we decided to change the band and donate or dedicate this to my wife. So it's been actually in production for almost 6 months now.
And what's the strength and body on this cigar, Brian?
It's definitely right in the medium wheelhouse. Body is still big and huge. Nice big white pepper spice still that we get out of that cigar. You get the inherent kind of the slow burning effect because of the cognac that's been infused in the leaves. And once again, I just kind of backing up because a lot of people may have don't know the history on the XO. But what we do at the factory is we take each one of the leaves, the binder, filler, and wrapper, everything that goes into the production of that cigar, and we hand infuse it at the factory. And then all the leaves that have been sprayed, which is everything, in fact, goes into separate Tupperware containers, and we actually let it sit there for 2 or 3 months to pick up all the aroma that we can out of that cognac. And then
in both the XO and the TLP are both cognac infused?
Yes, they're all same cognac. Everything's the same. So we took that. I mean, we'll talk about the future of what this of infusing in a minute, but that we figured we'll do this now before the August 8th turn of events that we're all having to deal with, and this won't go away. But I wanted to do something in effect. One-time shot that's still infused and still has some very special cognac that we put in the cigar, and it still has this incredible flavor and aroma. We're barrel aging that cigar also, so it's still got the French oak barrel flavor that you see from the barrels behind here. We still got that flavor that comes into the cigar with the cognac on top of that, and it just is a beautiful smelling and tasting cigar because of that infusion of that cognac, and you get this nice burning effect. Yeah,
it's interesting, Brian.
Slow.
We were talking about the infusion process before the show here in the studio, and we were trying to find some common sense in it all, which is usually a journey that goes nowhere. But we were saying, there are flavors and things that people do to tobacco that we smoke across the spectrum, right? I mean, we talked about all the different kinds of tobacco, not just cigars. And we said, a lot of the things that are being used to improve flavor or burn or whatever are things that we would normally consume or eat, right? But you wouldn't typically burn them and then taste them, but we do that when it's in tobacco. And we talked about maybe some of the side effects. But the fact remains that infusion into tobacco has been around since the beginning of time. I mean, I can probably venture to guess that the Indians, when they had tobacco, were putting some kind of spice in it as well to give it flavor characteristics. In this process has been going on for a long time. So having said that, where do you see regulations hindering on releasing a cigar like this in the future? Do you think it's going to be harder for infused cigars because of the infusion process, or just because of the age thing, like there's a flavored cigar and we don't want kids to smoke it?
Well, yeah, that's what the FDA, and I kind of led into that because I wanted to get into this discussion. So we're facing a crisis in the United States. The FDA, as I think everybody knows, and your listeners probably, I'm sure, are very well aware, that we're going to be heavily regulated by the government in our cigar industry in the United States. One of the first things they're trying to do, and this is to protect the children, is to get rid of flavored cigars, anything that's flavored, and especially any type of vapor. They want all that out of there because that's in their minds that entices children to the industry.
Right. So it has nothing to do, just so we're clear, nothing to do with science.
No, there's absolutely nothing. This is 100% the FDA's desire to regulate the industry to the point where they will squash anything that is child enticing, if you would. So that's what they're going to do. So flavors of cigars after August the 8th is going to be something of the past. That's why I wanted to do this now and get it in before the regulations hit, and I'll be forced to take this thing off the shelf. So it's definitely going to be a one-trick pony. And my plan is to continue to run this cigar. However, we will not infuse it with the cognac anymore. It'll be just pure tobacco. Because on August the 8th, we have to specify what is in each one of our cigars, and at that time, I will disqualify the cognac as an ingredient because moving forward, we will not do that.
So will the FDA not approve any infused
0.
cigars?
No.
And that's in the documentation they released.
Yeah, so that's their predicate. That's what they're going to do. So the likelihood of any cigar making it past the FDA with any type of flavor enhancement other than just tobacco is not going to happen. I mean, they are going down. If you read the regulations, they are going down to the nit degree of we have to specify where the water comes from that is used to keep the moisture on the cigars as we're binding it and wrapping it and making the cigar in the production process. We have to even specify what glue we're using. I mean, that's because those are the components that actually are in the cigar. We have to list everything that goes in a cigar. And I mean, literally, they're talking about where the water came from. I mean, that's
Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, so Brian, I mean, in terms of now, you have three other lines.
That's right.
Where do you kind of stand with those lines right now? Are these things that you're planning on basically doing substantial equivalents for?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're setting up for that right now, and we'll bring TLP into that same fold. So we'll have 4 blends going forward, and then we'll roll it into the same program. But I wanted to do this very special cigars because we're trying to raise a very large amount of money for ADA, and I wanted to continue to do the cognac infused because it's such a special cigar, and the price point obviously is very up there. I mean, it's a $30 stick cigar, guys, and like I said, all that money is going to go right to the ADA. So that's the goal, and I wanted to get them all sold before August the 8th and get it in the shelves and get it distributed. And then that'll be the last of it. You'll never see another Chinnock Cellars cognac infused cigar, unfortunately.
That's a shame. I think I told you this story, Brian. So 2 years ago, I was in Tiran de Bronze with Sandy, and she was I guess, starting to work through the process for this. She didn't tell me what the cigar was, but she showed me exactly how you laid it out, Brian, is what she showed me. That they spray the tobacco, they put it in Tupperwares, and she actually gave me some prototypes of that to smoke of some stuff I guess that had been aging, and it's what I could tell folks is if you're going to get this cigar, it is not your typical some flavored cigar. It is an infusion that just becomes very much a part of that product. Now I don't know if I've actually smoked the XOXO which she gave me. I'm kind of going by base what she was playing with in the factory, but it was very unique, is what I could say, is what she did there.
Yeah, it is. It really is, and it just having the phenolic compounds of the cognac in the cigar. Of course, the vapor all goes away, the alcohol goes away during the production process, but the flavor components of cognac stay behind in tobacco. Tobacco is like a sponge, and it absorbs all the flavors that are around it. It absorbs the wood smell from these wine barrels behind me, where we do the aging inside at the factory. And so they're like sponges, and they'll soak that up, and that cognac phenolic compounds that are left behind when you open that tube up, you can smell it. You can it's just a wonderful aromatic that somehow cognac and tobacco come together. I'm sure I know the Indians didn't know how to make cognac, but if they did, I'm sure they would have these things dipped in there every night. So anyway, so it's a very unique process. I don't think anybody that I know of that are making cigars that have ever done a cognac infused cigar are doing it at this level. This is they just they'll stick a bottle in a container with some cigars and hope it picks up the flavor. I mean, these things are actually atomized with a small spray bottle, and they
Yep.
are to the level where it's what's keeping the moisture in the cigar. So you get a lot of that. And Will, you saw that process there at El
Yeah.
Titan's doing that for you.
Like I said,
Yeah.
Brian, the way you laid it out, Brian, is exactly what Sandy. And she didn't tell me what it was for. This was 2014. And then when
Yeah.
you came on the show last year and talked the XOXO, a light bulb went on right afterwards saying, "Yep, LT Tiran de Bronze. She was working on that one."
Yeah, she was. Yeah, it was
Yep.
weird. Everybody was under non-disclosure. Don't say anything. We didn't say anything about
No,
anything.
she didn't tell me it was for you though. I mean, it was something she was playing around with. And she was playing with some other liqueurs too at the time
Right.
when I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, we did several blends. We found out that cognac was the finest for a flavor on a cigar, which is unbelievable. We tried red wine, which obviously I would want to do, but red wine when it spoils, it turns to vinegar, and the cigar smelled like vinegar, and it was a disaster. We did probably 10 cigars just as a trial, and within a week they just reeked. So don't ever try it, guys. It doesn't work. Yeah.
You're using on this cigar too, that Desflorado wrapper. So I remember you talked about this. That's the wrapper where they basically take the flower off the tobacco plant, and that pushes the nutrients down into the leaves. Correct?
Yeah, so it only happens about 5% of the time. That's why these wrappers are so expensive. It's probably the most expensive wrapper that you can produce or buy, at least. And the wrapper is extremely thin. And what happens when they take Desflorado means to deflower, in effect. When they take the flower off at the top of the plant, if the top leaves, the wrapper leaves from the very top, when it's being shade grown, are long enough, big enough, wide enough that they can make wrapper out of it, they'll pull them off right then. And that process only happens about 5% of the time. So
Wow.
it's a very it's something you have to separate and sort and keep it separated. And by doing that, the wrapper is extremely thin. It's like tissue paper, but it's extremely sweet and mild at the same time. It's just got this white pepper kind of a spice that comes out with this beautiful creamy sweetness to it. Yeah, it's really elegant wrapper. It's
Brian, to acquire this cigar, because now you got me really wanting to acquire some of these cigars. Do I need to call these retailers? I probably can't purchase this online. I have to either be in a retailer or call a retailer, correct?
Right. They're only going to be available from retailers. They're only going to be available retailers that are actually at the show in Vegas this year. Your best chance of getting one, because they're going to get 10 each, are the Chinnock Cellar lounges across the country. So we've got just so I'll go ahead and label them. And I think they're all watching tonight, so they'll probably be doing a sound out to me here in a second. So you've got let's see, Blue Smoke in Dallas with Jay Davis, the owner there. You've got Cutters in Alpharetta, Georgia.
Our friends down there. Yep, we know those
Yeah,
guys.
in fact, yeah, we saw you there a
Yep.
couple weeks ago. And then you've got Bill Niederer's place, Smoking Joe in Phoenix, Arizona. Actually, it's North Phoenix, up in Carefree, Arizona. And let's see where else we got. Then we've got, of course, here in Napa, California, at Napa Cigar at Eric's place. They'll have their share. And then up in Michigan, with the Plymouth Cigar Shop there in Michigan, they'll have their allotment up there. So we're pretty diverse across the country. So if you're close to Michigan, Dallas, Napa, Phoenix, or Dallas, I would hit those guys up first, and then they're going to be splattered across the other shops I got across the country. So.
Brian, you were mentioning Cutters in Atlanta, and it was interesting because when I saw you down there, Paul, Brian's standing in front of this like wine machine, right? It's a vending machine, and I never saw anything like this. He pre-purchased a card, okay, and then you take this card, and it's a self-dispensing wine machine, and he can pick out what you take a glass, you put the glass under it, and it goes against kind of this card. It was one of the coolest things I ever saw.
Yeah, they had that down at Cutters in Alpharetta, and I fell in love with the thing. In fact, I went and bought one for my house.
I was going to say, that was my question. I was like, yeah, because I think.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, in fact,
studio would be awesome.
I need one that.
It's unreal.
It's supposed to be here tonight, and I don't think it's going to make it. I think they're going to deliver it tomorrow. I've been waiting ever since I saw you. I bought it that next day. I think it's. I'm just waiting for it to get here. The UPS truck is bringing it in from up north in I think Oregon, and it came in from France, and so they or excuse me, came in from Italy. Sorry, not from France. Came in from Italy on a boat, and then they're gonna overnight it to me. And I think they missed it because it would have been here by now.
I need one that dispenses martinis. Like I choose.
Hey, it'll do that, man. It'll do martinis,
shake
any alcohol.
The bottles. You put the bottles actually in the thing.
Yeah, so you actually take a whole wine bottle of so you take this entire wine bottle, and the one I bought is a 4-spout. The one they had there at Cutters was an 8-spout. The same machine, it's just a bit bigger. You put the bottle in the machine, and it rises up into this filler, and it puts a seal on the bottle, and then it puts inert gas in, which is in effect nitrogen, into the bottle, and it pumps out the wine into your glass, and you can dial in if you want a 2-ounce pour, a 4-ounce pour, or a an 8-ounce pour, or a BFB pour like that.
That's cool.
It's a cool machine. Yeah.
Well, Brian, it was wonderful having you on the show. We were glad you were able to come back and talk about a project that's obviously very near and dear to your heart, to say the least. And look for the new Chinnock Cellars TLP cigar at retailers across the country. Thanks so much, Brian.
Brian,
Hey,
I'll see you at the show next week.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Brian.
You bet. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Brian.